Hello, my beautiful beans. How we doing today? Is it weird that I feel like I'm late even though I'm directly on time? Brains be weird. I think I posted everywhere I needed to post. Hello, stars. How are you today? Whew. Oh, that's part of why. All right. Me trying to discover new and different things. I was like, it's really dark today. Like, it's foggy out, but I also taped up the swatches that we did to the window, and that is going to be affecting how much light is going into this part of the table. So that's going to be part of it. I figured it out, though. It's fine. Hi, Leprous. How are you? I feel out of sorts today, which is fine. It's just, it's taking me longer than normal to think through all of the steps of everything. I swear I had more paper towels over here. I have the one. Was that it? I guess so. That's fine. I'm chugging along. I don't know. I feel like it has been 6 years since I streamed. I just feel like this week was very eventful. And so, I don't know. I feel like it's been way longer than it actually has been. Yeah, I'll double the sleepy. I have not been sleeping well. It's almost like when you have things that are stressful, it makes you stressed and then you don't sleep as well. Weird. What am I forgetting? Nobody knows. I guess I need to decide what I'm doing because we did just kind of do straight color wash on these guys. That's probably the next step. Yeah, I hate that Lapras. I'm like that too. Our neighbor has like a really, really loud motorcycle that they've drug out of their garage. And they just like start it and leave it running in the mornings when they leave for work at like 6:30, and it wakes me up and then I have trouble getting back to sleep. And it's the worst. Let's see. I think adding some yellow to these guys for the highlights on that side is going to be good. So that's a place to start. I don't know. I've been in like a very overwhelmed headspace this week. I say this week as I haven't been like that for a significant amount of time. But you know. Sometimes it just hits different. Yeah, they have a number of loud cars, but the motorcycle is the worst one. For sure. So I think I want to add some yellow on the sides here, and then I'll add some more oranges into the bark so that it doesn't just feel like warmth on one side. I'll feel better about that. But yeah, they also have a bunch of kids that scream a lot, which is fine. Kids are allowed to scream. I don't have a problem with that. But it's just like a very loud household compared to everybody else in the neighborhood. Let's do some of this. It's really, I just want a touch of warmth in here, so that it doesn't feel quite so out of place. Like that. Oh, that's always awful. Yeah, we one of the summers up here we had they were replacing the water mains in our neighborhood, and so we had I think I posted about it in Jack's Discord back when it was happening, but I don't know if you were there yet. Because it was a while ago, but they like tore up our driveway and everything. I am doing a stretchy, and hello, Grim. I will also do a hydrate. Oh yeah, I added a new thing.
Katie, I love you, but I'm encouraging the bad decisions. If it's a bad, like, do it. Fucking do it.
That was about me playing Stardew when I needed to go to bed early. Everybody's been playing Stardew and it keeps getting me.
This is a self-care checkpoint. Do you need to take meds? Get some water, some food? Take a break or a stretch? Please do so now. Thank you.
Okay, I've done a stretchy, I've done a hydrate. Did I make that so that that doesn't go in the queue? I think I remembered to do that. Yeah, I think that one is so funny. I amused myself, which is good. You should amuse yourself. But I like that I made that, like, I sent it through a couple filters so that it kind of ended up sounding like you were on hold with somebody. Like a very crackly voice message. Oh, actually, I have a good one for that because I was thinking about this last night. I set a boundary even though it was scary yesterday. And it was fine and it wasn't a big deal, but it freaked me out to do it. I did it all on my own. Without anybody checking in. I was just like, oh, wait, what? Look at me go. Thank you. It's especially hard for me this week. I've noticed that I'm a lot worse at that when I'm dealing with a specific person in my life that I'm going to be dealing with. And so even just the promise of dealing with that person makes me a lot more anxious and bad at protecting my own space. So I was very pleased with myself about that, even though it was scary. I do think that I want to make the background a little bit darker, but I think I want to do a brown and then maybe do more blue on top of that to make it feel darker instead of just doing straight gray. And then we can work on doing some depth in the leaves here, I think. I also really want to work on the moss today. I'm just vibing with moss. Oh, I painted my nails too yesterday. Boop, boop, boop. I kind of wish that I hadn't added the gold, but it's growing on me. I like it better today than I did yesterday. Yeah, I was made to be a moss creature, I think. I wasn't made to be a people. Boop. Okay, I need to remind myself that this will dry quite a bit lighter than it looks right now, so I don't need to freak out. And we're wanting to make it dark anyway, so it's fine. I do think the little bit of brown in there with the warmth really fits, though. What else do I have to say today? Oh, I posted on my Instagram story today that my sticker order is heading into production. I'm always amazed at how fast Sticker Ninja gets their proofs done. So there's going to be 2 new stickers coming. My patrons know which ones. I don't think it's a secret, but I always tell them when I order stuff so that I can set some aside for them if they're interested in them. Which means I'm going to have to print more sticker backings and do sticker packing again. And it also means writing new listings. I'll probably hold off posting them in my shop until I'm moved over to my website. But maybe we'll do a giveaway for one or something here, because I like doing giveaways. I think they're fun. Other things. Let's see, I drew a chicken this week that I posted on socials. I'm probably going to post the time lapse of that one tomorrow on socials. I'm trying to be better about posting on social media, which feels really overwhelming. But I think I just get too wrapped up in like the production aspect of it when I don't need to have high production value. That's not the important part of the stuff that I'm posting. So just taking me doing a little drawing or whatever, which I should actually take a recording while I'm working on this at some point. Probably when we're doing the moss, maybe the leaves. The leaves will be a good little bit for that. But I get wrapped up in trying to make it what's the word I'm thinking of? Like complicated with cuts and multiple clips and stuff like that. And then I get overwhelmed and then I just don't make anything. But I think what I did this week, where I just take a clip of me painting stuff and put a message that I need to hear over top of it, is good. And that seems to resonate with other people too, so that's good. I do need to figure out some more messages to do. Which, thinking up stuff is always the hard part, but I guess I can also just like say fuck it and just post a clip of me doing something and say here's a clip of me doing something and not worry about it. Because I'm not like overly concerned with the algorithm picking stuff up, because I'm never going to be like a viral star of the internet, and I don't particularly want to be. But growing in small ways for the reasons that I want to grow is definitely a better way for me to focus on that, and I need to remember that. Because it's not just about views, it's about making a community, and you don't make a like solid community by just posting to be posting, you know? Yeah, I like that brown better. This camera is still very saturated. Maybe I should futz with that a little bit. But how's everybody else doing? What has your week's been like? That's way browner than the other one was. Let's try that again. That's better. I still haven't fully decided what color I want to make the log. I do know that I want to have it be less saturated than the alive trees. But maybe I should just start and go, oh, that bad, Grim? Also, I did see your message, but I was like setting up, and so I didn't have a chance to respond to it, but I did see that. Hi, BP. How you doing? Thanks for the poke. Well, I'm glad you're still here, Grim. I know sometimes that's the best you got, is just surviving. And it's still worth doing, but having to be in survival mode for a long time is exhausting. I may be a little quieter today. Tell me if I need to speak up. Because I can tell that I'm doing vocal fry again today because I'm tired. Oh, I'm sorry, BP. I hope it gets less stressful. Or you just get to be freed soon. Yeah. Yeah. Yay, capitalism. And by yay, I mean boo. I'm just going to make this quite a bit darker. It's going to lighten up a little bit when it dries anyway, but I do want that to be pretty dark. I was going to futz with the camera some more. Okay, good. What was I doing? Wow, immediately forgot. I was going to change the saturation on this just a little bit. Just a little. Like there. I think that's more color accurate. Maybe I want to do some kind of like shading in the dark areas, just so that it doesn't feel flat. So let's just do some darker like there. Yeah, I have been sleeping like crap this week. I've just had a lot of stuff going on, which means my hamster wheel of a brain is just like running non-stop, which is not always fun. Maybe I want to add a little bit of yellow in the top of that too, so that kind of feels like light filtering through the forest. Maybe that's a good idea. I really haven't like thought out the color of this project so much because I was so focused on the line art for so long that I didn't really think past that. So we're just vibing. This is going to make a pretty stiff line there, but I think I'm okay with that. If not, we can smudge it out and it'll be fine. I will say trying to work on the amount of space that I have with a paper this big is a task, which I knew it was going to be, but sometimes you don't realize how bad it's going to be until you get there. Actually, I kind of like how I did that, so let's just do some more like brushy strokes in here, because why not? I also don't want to make the background so intense that it pulls focus from the front of the piece, which I don't think is going to be a huge deal because we're going to have a very light bit right here. But something to be cognizant of. I've been using the word cognizant like a lot lately. It's a good word. These are a little stiff. Let's loosen those up a little bit. Okay. Then once that dries, I will go over it with a little bit of yellow, I think, in the top area. But let's play with leaves for a little bit. Oh, I also finished a baby blanket this week, which is exciting, and then like immediately started a new one. I think I am gonna have to tear out what I did on the new one because I think I messed up the beginning of the pattern because it's uneven. So I probably miscounted somewhere and I'll just start over. I could just, you know, barrel on with it, but I would rather it be even. And it will make continuing the pattern less difficult. Let's do a little bit of shading. And we can add some more colors to the leaves. I do need to figure out some scheduling stuff because I think I mentioned this before, but my dad's coming up to visit in May, which means I'm going to have to break down the streaming area since it's in the middle of the living room, which means that there won't be streams for a little bit. But I need to figure out the exact dates and stuff for that, because just saying, oh, at some point is not helpful to me knowing when I need to do things. That isn't, like, I've been told, I just need to conceptualize it in order to move forward. I need a lot of time to think about things. I'm realizing this as a person. Like, I already knew that, but sometimes things happen where you're like, oh, I didn't have enough time to process this internally, and so now I feel overwhelmed. Which, I get overwhelmed very easily. Which I think most people have discovered about me. If you know me, you know that I am very rarely whelmed or underwhelmed. I'm usually overwhelmed. But it's one of those things where, like, you think you're a normal person for a while, like, you think you're doing all right. You found some sort of balance. Then something happens and you're like, actually, I'm the weirdest person that's ever existed. I'm basically an alien. I'm like Superman, but less well-adjusted. I didn't put more Appetite Green on my palette last time. I need to do that at some point. Hey Betty, how are you doing? Good to see you. Feel like I haven't talked to you in ages, which is probably true. If I feel like it's been ages, then it's probably been like 2 ages. Because my concept of time is bad. I'm doing pretty well. Just chugging along with all the weirdness. Yeah, I know they're streaming today. I haven't been able to make it there in a while either. Just schedule clashes. You know how it is. That's the problem with like being a streamer and also having streamer friends, is like there's too many people to watch and not enough time. I do think it's good that like a lot of the friends I have now also don't have good object permanence, and so our like friend degradation doesn't really exist. It's just like, oh, I haven't talked to you in forever. We're still friends though, and everybody's kind of on the same page. Thank you. I will turn it right side up so you can actually see what's going on with it. So this is part of a coloring book project. So I scanned the line art for this, and it's going to be part of a Halloween themed coloring book. That's going to be a Kickstarter. Closer to Halloween, we're getting all the like background work done on it. I think I'm the first one to actually get going on this, but that's just because I'm like that as a person. So I'm one of 30 artists who are all making a sheet in the coloring book, which is cool. I was really pleased to be thought of when that was coming up. But yeah. So all of us had 2 theme words, and mine is ghost and mushrooms. And this is a fresh ghost. You can see the hand over here. Yeah, that's totally fair. I do have like free coloring sheet downloads on my Ko-fi. And I'll probably leave those there even when I transfer my for sale stuff over to my website. Just because it's a really easy platform to use. But like if you're already doing line art, it doesn't take extra work to just scan it and make that available to people, you know? Thank you. I appreciate it. But I haven't done like an actual in-print coloring book before, but the person who is running the project has. So I'm interested to see kind of like the back side of that and understand a little bit better what's going on, because maybe that'll be a thing at some point. I do love me a coloring book. Not that I use them a super huge amount anymore because I'm doing this kind of shit, but let's see. I haven't used this color and I pulled this out, so let's play with this a little bit. Can also use the boreal green to make those areas a little darker if I want. That's the color we used for the wash that we did. But hopefully we can get the forest bits done and then work on that log, because I want to work on the moss. The moss. Love some moss. I keep going to the wrong palette. I need to make friends with somebody who does like ceramics because there's a specific kind of palette that I really want to use for these beam paints that I got. And I can't find one that works anywhere. So I think what I need to do is cozy up to the ceramics department at the university here and like pay somebody to make what I want. Because like I would just take the class and make it myself, but who's got that kind of money? Not me. What I really want is like something like my usual palette, so like this, except like a big flat area and then have circles cut out where the paint stones, that's what they call these little guys, can sit in so that they don't move around as much. Because I like them, but in order to really activate the pigment, I have to hold it and mess with it, which is fine, but it would be easier if I didn't have to do that. think I'm gonna make all the weird shaped ones one color. What color? I don't know, but a color. I guess I could pull out another, because I didn't pull out like milkweed from that other brand. That would go nice now that I've added more yellow up there. That'll work. Make it a little bit, a couple lighter colors here. Let me see. This one, right? Yes. And what's this one? No, I don't want you. Sorry. Some spring green too. These ones, the binder is a little bit more opaque, so they kind of react more like gouaches. Hi, Sky! Which is both good and bad. Like it's something to be aware of, I guess. It's just different paints, different mediums. But let's add these blobs on here, because that just goes just fine with the rest of our colors. Do you want to make all the weird leaves this shape or this color? I know words. No, I don't. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it. But they'll cover up the ink a little bit, which I don't think is bad. Like, if I was just doing this and not doing a coloring sheet, I wouldn't have done the shapes in there, but I felt like it needed some more distinguishing characteristics. And the options were either draw every single leaf or draw a few leaf shapes to get the idea. And I decided to go with a few leaf shapes, because that just, I don't know, it seemed better. Kind of like what I was doing with the grass, where there's like some shapes but not a fully defined area, you know? Because at a certain point, coloring in all of the leaves, both as the artist and as the colorist, the consumer, I don't know what word to use there, it would get overwhelming and silly and not so fun. In my opinion, at least. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere who just would love to fill in tiny shapes for the rest of their life. They're so valid for that. I say as if I don't draw shapes for me to fill in on my habit tracker. The loud car is back. Still annoyed I was woken up by that motorcycle at 6:30 in the fucking morning. Hi, Kuro. How you doing? Okay, and then I think we use spring green for the last ones, and then that's fine. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I feel like out of sorts, I guess, is the way to put it. I haven't been sleeping super well, so I just kind of like, my brain is not really online. So, I'm kind of getting the vibe that that's everybody's feeling this week, so it's not just us. Just big week, little brain. To add a smack of that on there. So that's our palette thing. Yeah. Oh, interesting. It might be, I don't know. We've been having a lot of pressure shifts here, which is not uncommon with the seasons, and it can definitely mess with hearing. Oh, no worries, Betty. It's always good to see you, no matter how short. Have a good day, and we'll run into each other again at some point. But yeah, one of those too much muchness days, Kuro. That's what I call it. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I call that feeling too much muchness. Yeah, I think this is fine. Just get the vibes. I need to fight the urge to just like fully realistically render everything, because that's not what we need to do for this. What? Me not being excessive about something? Yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah. So, I scanned the line art for the coloring book, and then I'm doing the original art, and so painting it myself, and then it'll be one of the rewards for the higher tiers on the Kickstarter. That's the plan. Do I want to mess with that background more? I actually quite like it the way it is, so I think I will leave it. Excuse me, I think... do I want to peel up that masking fluid now and do the mushrooms, or do I want to do all the mushrooms at the same time? I should peel up the masking fluid just because if I leave it on there too long, it's probably going to damage the paper. Thank you, and good luck with work. Thanks for the pop-in. Oh, yes? I did add the sounds.
Hey there, little mama. Let me whisper in your ear.
Yep. What color do I want to do grass? That's another question. I just think it fits so perfect with the little gecko. It's so good. I need to put more of that color on my palette before I forget again. Thank you. Did I leave it out here like a smart person? Wow, look at me go.
Go piss, girl.
All right, that means I gotta take a break, guys. So I'll do that, and then maybe Kuro will actually go back to work. Did you just want to hear it? Because I could just refund it. Okay, I will refund it. Oh, yeah, fair. I should have told you. I meant to and then just forgot because my brain is a sieve. I do kind of want to do a wash on the grass just so that I know what color I'm using. And to just kind of like block things in. So let's do that. Okay, have a good day. I'm sure I'll talk to you later. But I do want to do like a sap green and a yellowy a bit. I'm also going to need to add more yellow. I think did I remember to buy a new tube? I did. It's right on top even. Fantastic. Sometimes I remember to do things. Not always, but sometimes. And then I forget that I remembered to do it. You know how it is. I'm sure I'm not the only one. There is theoretically a fault in this paper, and we're going to discover together how much of a difference that actually makes. I have it labeled on the back of the paper in pencil so that I can erase it. But yeah, I'm kind of wishing that I had masking fluid all of the mushroom at that point. It's fine though. Shawnee. Bye, Shawnee. Hi, Shawnee. How's it going? Good to see ya. I will hydrate in just a moment.
This is a self-care checkpoint. Do you need to take meds? Get some water, some food? Take a break or a stretch? Please do so now. Thank you.
I'm remembering the reason that I didn't fill that in last time was because I hadn't decided exactly what I was going to do with the ghost yet, but you know what? We're flying. It doesn't matter. Let me just get this damp enough that it's not going to dry immediately so that I don't end up with like weird lines, and then I will take a quick drink. Because I can reactivate it, but it won't look the same. I also need to be careful about the ink here. I haven't used this ink before, but it's the one that Trisha uses, and like, she does fine, so I can probably do it too. But I am still not 100% sure how easily it's going to lift up. Not that I mind a little bit of a blur here and there, that's fine. Alright, Zippy. Zippy accomplished.
Katie, I love you, but I'm encouraging the bad decisions. If it's a bad, like, do it. Fucking do it.
That actually jump scared me a little bit. Which I expected it to, just to be clear. But I did jump. No, all good. No need to apologize. I know that that's the only alert that actually says my name, right? So it's just like, huh? Why am I being spoken to? For the memes. This doesn't need to be even, and in fact will look better if it isn't very even, so I need to not be particularly insane about this. Oh no, don't be sorry, it's all good. Yep. Decided to give chat more power. Oh, I decided to not fill those in because the colors were going to be darker, so it was going to cover everything up. I remember now. This is going to need to live in a flat book for a while after I finish it, because I decided not to tape it down because, one, it's too big for my workspace, but also I wanted to be able to rotate it while I was working, so it's going to end up a little warped, but I can fix that. Like, it's not a big deal. I can see it warping. Also, that line is like way too distinguished. Undistinguish yourself, please, sir. Thank you. Hoi. they? I have really, like, I feel like I haven't had time to breathe this week. I don't know. Like, it hasn't been like that wild, but it definitely has felt like a lot happening all at once. Which, like, fair. But also, this is like the first time I felt like I took a real breath for a while. I'm just stressed out. I'm always stressed out, but it's a different flavor of stressed out, I guess, is the big thing. And preparing for company is always a thing, TM. Because I need to, one, break down all of this stuff and clean it up, but I also need to basically move out of the guest room so that a guest can use it. Because I just sleep in there. My actual bedroom is downstairs and doesn't have a real window. Like, it has one, but it's not one that gets sun because it's facing our neighbor's house. And so I stay upstairs because if I stay in the basement, I get sad and my brain tries to eat itself because there's not enough sunlight. But that does mean whenever we have visitors, I need to vacate the premises. But I think that will be easier once I get my studio set up, because I can just have most of my stuff in there and it won't be as big a deal. But it still just kind of adds to the weirdness and kind of like, I don't know, it adds to that unreal feeling. I'm going to preface that. I know that this is not a real feeling. I know that it's just my brain being mean. But it does kind of add to that feeling of my brain telling me I'm a nuisance to everyone. Which, again, I know is not true. I know this for a fact. But it does make it a bit more wearing. Because when the majority of your energy all the time is spent on telling your brain that it's lying to you. Yeah, I have blackout curtains too. Well, they aren't really blackout curtains. They're teal and don't fully black out, but they black out better than what was there before. Yeah. So my bedroom, which I spend a lot of time alone. I prefer my own company, generally speaking, to spending time with anybody else. So I spend a lot of time in my room. So when we moved into the house, I got the biggest room, but it's also the room that's in the basement and doesn't have a lot of light. And so when my depression got even worse than it already was, I was spending a lot of time by myself in winter in a room that doesn't have any sun. And I definitely think that made the situation worse. Which is not, nobody's like at fault or anything. It just, I realized this as I was coming out of the funk. That I was like, oh yeah, that probably didn't help anything. But now we are more aware of what our issues are, and so we're doing better. You'll love to see it. That's growth, baby. But it definitely did not help for a long time. But I do also just like need a space where there's a closed door, because otherwise I have my people face on for too long and then I become crazy. I say as if I'm not already crazy, crazier. And I tend to get way more overwhelmed faster, which I don't need any help being overwhelmed. I'm really good at being overwhelmed. So I'm going to add a few just kind of like blops in here of higher pigment, just because I kind of want it to not be super uniform. Ooh, that was way more than I thought it was. Excuse you, calm down. Because we are going to put some white gouache on for the ghost, so... Yeah, I have in my, well, I guess technically the guest room, in the room I sleep in, I have the back blackout curtains, and then I have the like lighter sheer curtains in front so that I can get a varying amount of sun in whatever way works for me at the time. Because the sun also does shine directly into that room for a significant portion of the summer. So having it so that it's not shining directly in my eyes is nice. I should really post the photo. So it was sunny the other day, and the sun shines into that room like directly on the headboard from like 6 to 8 p.m. So I took a photo of myself squinting at the sun, and I should post it somewhere because it's funny. Oh, I just full on filled in that mushroom. That's going to be fun to deal with later. Whoops. But yeah, so I gotta move all my stuff, which isn't gonna be that bad, I think. But it is still a task, TM. Okay. That's blocked in. I need to let it dry a little bit before we do some of the details in here. I think I will pull up the masking fluid while we're waiting, though, on the tree mushrooms. Which I don't remember what those mushrooms are called, like shelf mushrooms? Maybe? I just had that. Where did I put it? Here it is. I am so bad at keeping track of where things are. Like, just god-awful at it. Could it be the brainworms? Perhaps. Oh, it's nearing. This is a song from Cassette Beast, so we're going to go back on that horse of me complaining about this video game again. The last I heard was over a month ago from one of the customer service team who said that a fix for the setting was in the pipeline, and that's a quote. And they have not responded to me since. But it's nearing a year since I first complained about the setting not working on Twitter, and I'm like really excited to be petty and quote retweet that and say happy year anniversary to the setting that still doesn't work. Like, if they aren't going to let me play this game that I paid money for, I'm really excited to just be a bitch about it, honestly. Because at this point, I've been very polite for a very long time. For those not in the know, so the song is from Cassette Beast, which is a cool game, I think. I watched somebody play it and it seems fun. But, ooh, I'm gonna need to re-ink some of those because the masking fluid just decided to tear up all of the ink. That's fine though. We can redo it. Not a big deal. But I bought it on Switch, and on Switch, an accessibility setting that disables like glitch effects, so like the kind of staticky chrome aberration kind of deal, doesn't actually work. Like, the setting doesn't save if you turn it off. So I've been emailing back and forth with their customer service for over 9 months. I could have created a child inside of my own body by now if I had any desire to do that, which I don't, but I could have. And it's been like pulling teeth trying to get these people to tell me what's going on, which is really frustrating. But I've just kind of considered it lost money at this point, and I'm just going to keep being a nuisance until the setting is fixed, I've decided. And it's become pretty clear that the company, which is Raw Fury, is the one who ported it over to the Switch, just kind of doesn't give a shit. So I, am not going to be purchasing anything else Raw Fury has touched until this setting is fixed, and maybe not even then, if I'm being honest, because their customer service has sucked. But yeah, I've been banging my head against that wall for a significant amount of time. We're coming up on a year since I noticed the setting wasn't fixed and tweeted about it, which I tweeted at the indie studio that developed it. It works fine on Steam, so I could theoretically just buy it on Steam, but I'm not double paying for something because I can't play it safely on one platform. You know what I mean? So, and I know that other people who complained to the company were offered a free Steam code for the game. I have not been offered that. So I did say that I wanted to do all those mushrooms at the same time, but maybe I don't. Maybe I just want to go for the shelf mushrooms right now. Because I kind of want to do a pretty pinky vibe for the tops of these. But yeah, I've been fighting with this company for a long time about it, and it's still annoying. They have yet to fix it. Is that what I want? Like that? Yeah. Well, that seems a little too close to the browns, actually. Let's mess with it a little bit more. About that. No. Maybe I just want to start with this and see how we go. Yeah, that's better. All right. Probably should have waited a little longer for the ink that I just put down to dry, but you know what? We're booking. It's whatever. It seems fine. I think I'll add some more kind of magenta pink tones on a second layer. And that will take me where I want to go. So I do think I'm also going to do just kind of like a beigey creamy color for the underbit. There's probably like, is it gills still on that kind of mushroom? I don't know anatomy of a mushroom. I really don't. Not every single mushroom in the world. I know the anatomy of some mushrooms, but not all of them. I do think that it's probably time to take this masking fluid off too. We're gonna leave it on the mushroom stems down here for a while longer because I still need to work on the grass, but I put that there just so that we didn't make the handle really dark while we were working on the trees. There is also some overlay happening where the masking fluid went a little bit too far out of the line, so we can smudge some stuff up right there too, so that that line doesn't look quite so obvious. Okay. Though I don't think it's really that bad. I think I can just smudge some stuff here and it'll be fine. Yeah, that seems good. Me trying to decide what the hell I'm doing at any given time. I do want this sleeve to be dark, probably a dark gray, and I might make the inside of the sleeve purple just for kicks and giggles. Just to make it stand out a little bit so that it's more obvious. What else do I want? Definitely want to work on the grass some more, but I think that's a later date thing. Are you mostly dry? We should be good to work on the log now, so let's work on a log together, shall we? What color do I want to underlay for that? Maybe blue. I know for the moss start, I want to do yellow. Start with this. Let's just work on some moss. Huh? Love a moss. God, that makes me remember that I still haven't listened to Hozier's new album. I'm so behind on the times. I keep forgetting about it when I'm listening to music. I have an important message to respond to. I'm so popular. My brain just short-circuited. That's not new news. My brain does that a lot. I made the mistake of opening my phone, and so now the universe saw, and now I'm getting all of the emails. I don't need any more emails. Thank you. I think I need to alter my streaming do not disturb setting on my phone. Yeah, for sure, Shawnee. This band actually is one that I put on when I want to sing along with something. That or the Josie and the Pussycat soundtrack, which are very different vibes, but both are good to sing with. For me, at least. Although a lot of the high notes Allie hits, who's the singer for this band, are too high for me. That doesn't mean I won't try in the privacy of my own home, but it does make a difference. Sorry, I just hit the mic with my paintbrush. Apologies. I'm excited to have like a real desktop computer that has more than 2 USB slots so that I can use my other mic. Because if I can start using my other headphones, I will definitely be able to stream longer. Because this headset is good and I like it, but it definitely hurts my ears after a while. What was I doing? I was doing this. My capacity for multiple tasks is not good. That's what I was doing. Okay. We got there. do want to do some of the other yellow on this too. Why is that not working? That should work. Hi Bean, have a good lurk. I think I need to go poke Streamlabs. That's annoying. Let me do that really fast before I forgot. It probably just signed me out without asking. This. You can load anytime, buddy. Anytime. You want to turn back on? Why did you turn off? There we go. Okay, that should work now. Let me do a little testaroonie here. Just to make sure it's back on. All right. There we go. That's annoying, but we fixed it. It's an easy fix. It's just annoying that I have to do that. Okay, now you can minimize so you don't stress out my laptop even more. Thank you for your service. Goodbye. There. All right. All right. I wanted to add some of the other yellow here. That was our next step. I'm probably going to end up doing some more shading to this, but I'm just going to let the pigments kind of do their own thing for a bit. Because it makes a good heckin' texture, especially for moss with these guys. The granulation from the Apatite Green especially, I think really suits it. I do a lot of moss like digitally more than I have done physically. I guess I've also done moss with thread, which is a very different experience. I think I have that within arm's reach once I get this layer sorted. I will show you. But I've mostly done moss digitally, and so I have like a set of specific brushes that I use, like digital brushes that I use for that. And I'm gonna tell you a little secret. The best one for moss texture in base Procreate is the Fresco texture. If you use that one to do your general shading and stuff, it really just, it pops. And you just gotta layer your greens and your yellows, and then it will look bangin'. I may end up going back through here with maybe some blue overlay for the shadows. I say overlay because I'm talking digitally, but it still counts. There's a reason it's called that digitally too. I do think I need a little bit more sap green up top here. I just like making moss. I just like making moss. Yeah, that slaps. Hi, Cap. How you doing? We're making moss. Yeah, doesn't that slap? I love making moss. I was meant to be a goblin who organized moss by colors and tastes. If you get that reference, then we're friends now. You don't get a choice. But this is the other moss that I did. This is an embroidered brooch. Yeah. I appreciate the pop-in. I hope you had a good break, and I hope work's not too bad. Yeah, thank you, Shani. I knew you'd get that one. But yeah, so I did the moss texture on this. I did all in French knots, which are my least favorite stitch to do, but they look so good. So this is, if I move this up, it's not going to focus, but you can maybe see some of the texture even if it's blurry. So the French knots stand up off of the fabric a little bit. But this is one of the things that's for sale right now and on sale. You could get this for half off, which is still not cheap because embroidery takes a long time. But I think it's $100 if you use the 50% off coupon. So it's a good deal if you wanted to own this and have it be your very own. But yeah, so similar vibes from this one to the log we're working on. I'm glad it's been a good day so far. So yeah, I do need to let this dry a little bit and then I'll go back in with some more yellows, I think, just to layer them. It got a little bit too wet up top, so the feathering isn't as nice up there. But we'll let that dry for a little bit and then get back to it. I could work on the basket a little bit. So I want to wait to do the hand and the arm until I finish the actual log part, so that the colors don't bleed. So let's work on a basket for a little bit here. I think I want to start with ochre for that one. Oh, that's great! That's fantastic. You know you knocked it out of the park. Oh, I also need to still do the beige up here. That's the other thing that I need to not forget. But let's start with some ochre, shall we? I do love me some ochre. And there are some mushrooms in the basket that I've drawn, so that will also be a thing that we have to deal with at some point. And I need to not just paint over them because that will make my life more difficult down the line. Thank you. I'm pretty happy with it so far. We'll see. The part that I'm like really worried about is doing the ghost, because I'm doing, like, I know conceptually what I want to do, but I'm not sure how well it's going to work out. But we can handle it. It'll be fine. It's just one of those things I have to think about really hard. Although, to be fair, I really have not thought any portion of this project through. Isn't it great? The paint just pretty much did that all itself too, which is so good. Just the general granulation you get from certain watercolors, especially the brand I use because I really like that texture, does so much of the work for you. So the Green Apatite, which is the color in focus this month, is one of the genuine pigments, so it's actual like ground up rock, and it granulates like nobody's business. And it looks so good. I love it. That's why I use this brand, is just because I like that texture. Yeah! I really like doing moss digitally too. I may just need to do like a forest sticker pack at some point. That may happen. I'm also, I guess I should mention this on stream, I'm also thinking really hard about washi tapes and sticker books. So if people have things that they want to see in my style or that I've made already in a washi tape, give me a holler. I definitely want to do one from my So Busy sticker sheet. Do I have those out here? I should, but do I know where they are? That's another question entirely. I do know where they are. Oh my god, I'm so on top of it. Look at me go. So I'm thinking using these assets in a washi tape would be really cute. Have a good day at work. I'll talk to you later, I'm sure. So I'm thinking doing some of these with washi tape as a washi tape pattern would be good. I think I'll do another version of the bird scissors that are open too. Because I think that would be cute. I'd go with the vibe. Or maybe a different kind of scissors that are open. Because there are a lot of fancy embroidery scissors. But I'm thinking doing something like that would be fun. And I know at least one person that it would tempt. So, I mean, I would also want to use it, which is, I kind of go into the things that I'm ordering, like stickers and stuff like that, thinking, if I got stuck with this entire stock, would I use all of it? Which means that either way, if I sell it or if I don't sell it, it's technically a success for me because I just have more stuff. I love stuff. So it's just, I don't know. Things to think about. But I do also want to make a sticker book at some point. And the company that I know makes nice washi tape is also a company that I know makes nice sticker books. So that's banging. And I do have a couple ideas for washi tape because I do want to do, we talked about this on stream before, but I do want to do a like gummy bear washi tape repeating pattern. Ooh, mushrooms is a good idea. Actually, I do have some mushroom stuff. Maybe repeating with a color in the background. That would be nice. But yeah, repeating pattern of just like a pile of gummy bears, basically, I would like to do at some point. But I do want to do a repeating pattern and have it repeat physically, which I haven't really had the brain capacity to wrap my head around yet. So that's still on the docket. It's just not a right now task. But at some point, it will happen. I'm tempted to go in with colored pencil for the texture, the weave texture on the basket here. But maybe I want to try it with paint and we'll see what I think about it first. I should also write that idea down before I forget. Remembering ideas in the future? Don't know her. To darken that up, probably with some burnt umber, I'm thinking. But let me write down mushroom into a thing where I won't lose it. I have a place for this. Right there. My left thumbnail is getting long enough that the way that I type on my phone is different. Which confuses my autocorrect really bad. And by the time I cut this, it will have gotten used to how I type with the long fingernail. And the next time my fingernail is short, it's going to get confused again. I make my autocorrect suffer at all times. It's not even on purpose. It's just... I'm sorry you can't understand that I type different ways. I kind of wish that there was like a setting that you could do that was like, oh, I'm typing only with my left hand right now, or I type with 2 thumbs, or you know, that kind of thing, so that you could like warn it to learn certain ways. But I know that that's like never gonna happen. This is such a specific problem that I'm sure it's not conducive. Or very lucrative to code, I guess is what I mean. I do have those murals that I painted last month that I haven't done anything with, and I don't know what to do with, if I'm being honest, because I didn't really, they were just a study, so I didn't like plan out the sheet in a way that makes sense for like a wall hanging or anything. But maybe if I make a bunch of different mushrooms, I can rearrange the art digitally, and then it will make a nice print. That's something else that I'm heading towards, is selling prints through actually me and not through Imprint, because Imprint kind of bites, not gonna lie. And I've made exactly 1 sale on Imprint, and it wasn't a print, which is really funny to me. It was some of their art cards. I don't know. But I think I would rather like pare down what I'm selling and sell them through myself instead, because I'll be able to do a more affordable price if there isn't a middleman, right? So I'll just have the direct cost. But I will need to have fewer options than I have on my Imprint at the moment, which is hard. Trying to figure out what art to sell is really just like picking which child is your favorite. Well and truly. Like, I have to be like, okay, well, I don't think this guy will do very well. And then the art looks at me sadly with big brown eyes. Says, you don't like me? It's like, that's not the issue. I just don't think you'll sell very well. I'm sorry. There is some of the lyric art that I did that I think would be good for prints, but I don't think the ones that I like best from the lyric art are the ones that would do best. So I need to like, I've been threatening to do a like poll tournament of my own art on Tumblr, and I think even though it's like a lot of work to get to that, I think maybe we're nearing the point where I do need to do that. Just warm this up a little bit. I think I cooled it down a little bit too much here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I do want to go through after that's dried and try to do some watercolor texture for the weave of the basket. But this should be dry to a good point now, and I can do some more texture on there. All right. That's the good thing about working on a piece this big, is that there's enough stuff to work on that I can just move around the page. I just kind of want to do some little blips up here so that it's not quite so smooth looking. Well, it doesn't much matter here because we're going to cover that up with more stuff. While this is upside down, I can also do the underside of the mushrooms. Right. We're trucking now. I may need to change my water in a little bit though. We really have an unhealthy Mountain Dew piss color going on right now. Because we've been using a lot of green and yellow, which makes sense. But it is going to make everything I do a little bit yellow. That's not as bad if it's yellow, really. Like when you get like purples or something, that's really rough, but I still feel better if my water is clean. I guess I do have the citrus anxiety mushrooms too, but I don't know if those would fit super well with like other regular mushrooms. Maybe I should make more fruit mushrooms. Because really, you can do the same thing I did with the citrus mushrooms with any fruit that is round. Just my dream brain decided to make it citrus. And I could do like a pomegranate. I could do like a cantaloupe, a kiwi. Maybe I'll do that. That seems fun. Although the citrus mushrooms I did in fully colored pencil. Which I don't know that that would be as fun to watch per se if I was doing that on stream. Just because really it's even worse than when I'm painting because I'll just like get all the way down here and be like, eh. Which I don't know, maybe that's fun. Do you want to see my nose? I like how we didn't hear this song for like ages. Now we're hearing it every single stream. I am not complaining, to be clear. It's a banger. I just find Spotify's shuffle function to be really interesting. Thank you, Shadi. That's good. Should I do that yet? Probably. Let's just go for it. Whatever. Yes, yes, very good. I do like the way those look on the birch tree better than I do on the other one. Like, I think they both look good. I just think the color pops so much better over here, which makes sense. Just I like it. I like the way it looks. I maybe want to add a tiny bit of yellow on the highlight edge of these. Just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that slaps. Thank you so much, Kata. That's a great relief to me. Okay, I love the shadows that I did on this. Fun fact, I know how to art. When did that happen? I think probably next is the actual log, because I think the bottom of our moss is dried enough that that's not going to bleed. See, I don't even like to eat shrimp, but they're such neat little guys. If they disappeared off the planet, I would be sad. Same with lobsters, really. Don't want to eat them, but they're so fun. I still haven't decided what base color I want to do for the log. I think maybe... I would love to have a shrimp tank. I should not have a shrimp tank, just to be clear. I absolutely should not. But I think having one would be really fun. I love those tiny little guys, like the cherry shrimp. They're so little. There's also those ones that are like basically clear in the water. Those ones are super cool. Yeah, that's fair, Kata. That's fair. I'll eat crabs, which are kind of in a similar boat, but I don't want to pick the meat out of the crab myself. Like, I want somebody else to do it for me, which is why I usually eat crab cakes. I do think I'm going to go through with a smaller brush through the mushrooms and kind of do some stripies for some gill texture. Ah, that sounds awesome. I have often dreamed about having like a complicated fish tank, but I know myself and I know that I would not be a good fish parent. Just the whole having to clean the whole tank thing, I would not want to do that ever. Okay, I think we're gonna do a blue underwash for the log, just to kind of like deaden the other colors a little bit. And we're gonna see how that goes. I haven't done this before, but I believe. So we're just gonna do kind of like this mucky color. And see how that goes. Yeah, shrimp I've heard are a lot easier than like general fish. But yeah, you do need a big tank. I think it would be nice though to have them. So in my many maladaptive fantasies about what a stream room would be like, one of the things that I think about is having like a fish tank or shrimp tank, and then having a camera specifically pointed at that to do for like a starting screen and a break screen and stuff, so that you could just sit and watch them while I'm just hanging out. I did at one point actually record my Animal Crossing aquarium with the intention of making that a starting soon screen and stuff when I was playing Animal Crossing. Like, I plan to play Animal Crossing on stream at some point. Oh my god, I love that, Shawnee. That's A+. We're pinning that. Theoretically, that pinned. Who knows, though? Trying to do things through Streamlabs chat is a little bit of a task. Did it pin? Yeah, see, it's fine on the other chat. This is why I have to keep like 2 chats open at all times. That's so silly. You should! I would love to see you. Well, hear you. You know what I mean. Okay, let's add some more muckies to this, shall we? 'Cause making this a little streaky will actually help us build our textures. I may end up adding some more kind of mossy texture on the inside. I haven't decided yet. We'll see when we get there, what I'm vibing with. I think you're dry enough to do some texture. Let's get a liner brush and go at that a little bit and see how I think about it. I probably want like this guy. Yeah, let's start there and see what I think. Yeah, you should. I have no idea, excuse me, what content warning is. Like, I know it's a multiplayer game, but I don't know anything about it other than that. Because I kept seeing people go streaming content warning, and I took those as 2 separate things. So, like, there's a content warning for this stream, and not that it was a game, because I live underneath a rock. Okay. But it's one of those things where people are like, yeah, content warning, so great. And I was like, huh? Yeah, I would not be good at Lethal Company either. Those kind of games, like anything where there is a sort of timer and a sense of panic will give me a panic attack. And that's not fun. I'm not good at things that require like fast responses in general. Yeah, well, I think judging from having watched streamers play Lethal Company, I feel like dying is part of the process a lot of the time. Oh, okay, that's more my vibe. Although I do, like, if my brain was a little less panic driven, I think that I'd really like doing like Phasmophobia. But because my brain likes to think that everything is a problem to run from, I don't think I'd do very well with that, mentally speaking. Yeah, I think it's cool, and I do have some problems watching stuff like that, just because if there are too many, like if somebody's streaming it, I mean, just because I have problems if there's too many voices happening at once, and I get easily overwhelmed by that. That's fair. See, I like the kind of puzzly aspect of that a lot. I love puzzle games. Yeah, that's so valid, Bean. That is so valid. Those are scary games. I watched some people play some, like, at various times, and it's just like I get why people like this, but I don't want to be included, thank you. But like, this is so stupid. One of my favorite game series is BioShock. I can't play BioShock without having a panic attack, but I love the like story and world building in it so much. So I like watch people play that constantly. It's like a category I follow on Twitch where I'll just like pop into people's stuff and be like playing BioShock, which is part of the reason why I think Twitch is so good, and just like the internet in general, really, because it gives me a chance to experience something that I really enjoy but can't experience in a normal way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, same, Kata, same. And I had that problem when I was playing like D&D too. And if I had been playing with people who I didn't know as well as I had been playing with, I would have had a meltdown every single session. I don't know. I'm just really bad at auditory processing, I guess. And it all feels very overwhelming. I don't even really like talking on the phone because of that too. I don't know. Trying to figure out what people are saying when I can't also see their mouths is difficult. Yeah, I'm bad at it. And that's part of the reason why, and I know that this is a little bit hypocritical, but that's part of the reason why most of the streamers that I watch and the streamers that I tend to hang out with a lot have a face cam, is so that I can also see their mouths. And after a while of dealing with the same person, I get their speech patterns enough that my brain will fill in the spaces, you know? But oh boy. I do want to do a face cam at some point. I just can't do it while I'm working on the laptop. Because she is already suffering. She's struggling. Yeah, for sure, Kata. I've always thought that I come across better in text than I do in speech. Like, always. Yeah, she's working. She's working real hard. But she was not made to do these things. I think I want to add a little bit more yellow to these. Like on the top side of them. Just like right here. She's trying her best, but I mean, that could also be said about me, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. I like having, because with text, you really have a longer time to think about what you're saying, which I really like because my brain short circuits like a lot, right? This is not news. This is not new information, but it gives me a chance to like slow down and read through the sentence a couple times before I form a response, which means that I don't cause misunderstandings as often. And it also means that when my anxiety is really bad, I can go back through a conversation and see if I'm overreacting in my own head to something that I did, which is very useful to me. But I don't know. It just works better for me. And I realize that that's like not a thing for everybody, but I have been trying to be better about it. And that's part of the thing with streams, is where I don't go back over anything that I said. So, yeah, fair. I can't do that. I'm like incapable of just continuing to blather unless I'm streaming, you guys are like my safe space for rambles. But it also is different because I'm not having to deal with somebody else talking to me in that way, so I can finish what I'm saying and then look at chat, you know? So it's definitely a very different situation. I think that I need to deepen some of the shadows on the brim here, but I want them to be a little bit lighter than the bottom. Just like this, I think will be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I like where that's at. I don't think I'm going to end up using colored pencil for that. I think I managed to do what I wanted to do with watercolor. But let's do some mushroom gills too. With a similar color, probably. Wormy color. Not wormy, but wormy. Like that. I should have started on the other mushrooms because we are going to risk me putting my hand in wet paint again. Worm? Oh, worm? I should paint a worm at some point, actually. Because they're just funky little guys. They have a cool texture to them. What if I did... Okay, I know this is shoving too many ideas into one boat, but what if I did a worm on a string washi tape with like one real worm in it, or vice versa, a whole bunch of real worms and then one worm on a string, like different species of worms. Would that be a bestseller? I don't think so, but I would find it very amusing. Yeah, this is where the paper tore, so I'm not gonna get nice lines there. That's fine. You gotta do things that spark joy, and sometimes what sparks joy is being ridiculous. Okay. It's a good meme too, which means it's one of those things that's easy to market. Just because you don't really need to say anything. You just hold it out and you go, worm on a string. And everybody goes, yeah, worm on a string. Although I will need to look and see if anybody else has done washi tape like that. Just to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody else's toes. Yeah, they're already streaming. They started like 20 minutes ago, I think. I got an email when they went live. But yeah, Lib is doing a 420 raid train. They're starting out with some Stardew with Allie, whose screen name is Catgirl Next Door, if I'm remembering correctly, which is fun. I kind of forgot that 420 was tomorrow, if I'm being honest. Because I don't know, this can just be between us, chat. But my edible day is Fridays. I will often have one at the end of the week as a little treat. And I get to sleep in on Saturdays, so is nice. I don't always, but if I'm going to, that's generally the day. Hey, lesbian! Homestuck mention. Trying to decide what I want to do for this log. I think I want to start with Cub Brown, and then we'll work our way out from there. This is Cub Brown, yes. Okay. Yeah, I get them occasionally. I try not to use them a lot, and I'm very careful about when I use them because I definitely have had problems with addiction in the past, and I would like to not do that anymore because it's not fun for anybody involved. So I have very strict rules about when I am allowed to and not allowed to use substances, which are personal rules, but I do think I'm probably going to end up doing blue mostly for shading on this guy, just because it'll read more dead, I guess, is really where I'm going with that. But I do, especially when I'm working also, Friday is like the day where there aren't any classes, so I don't need to worry about being called in last minute. I do think I need to use this color sparingly because it is much more opaque than the other brand of watercolors that I use, so something to be cognizant of. Again, I'm using cognizant like a lot lately. That's my new favorite word, I guess. It is a good word. But maybe I'll play some more in my solo Stardew tonight. That seems like a plan. I've been playing a lot of House Flipper because it's like less intensive for me than Stardew. It's a nice, like, relaxing end of the day kind of thing, especially when you're doing like the actual missions, because they tell you what to do. So it's just kind of like a complete tasks thing. I have, in fact, become cognizant of how many times I say cognizant. It's a good word. I've got that neurospicy habit of using really big words that nobody else uses. Oh God. I don't want any cognito hazards. I don't need any more hazards in my life, thank you. But I still need to finish my book club book for this month, which I've been listening to on audiobook, but if I'm listening to it while I'm playing Stardew, I don't pay attention to the story as much, I've noticed. And this book, I just kind of feel like I don't know what's happening, and I haven't felt like I've known what's happening for the entire book, if I'm being honest. I think I need to try it again in like print form, because none of it has stuck in my brain. It's Gideon the Ninth. I think I mentioned that already last time. But yeah, exactly. So like good words, cognizant, facetious, juxtaposition. Are those words that should be used in everyday conversation? Probably not. Are they words that I use in everyday conversation? Absolutely. They're just good words. But I do think that I would like Gideon the Ninth if I could like actually grasp what was happening, which the audiobook also, the author has a specific kind of English accent that I find rolls off of my brain without sticking a lot. So that's another issue. But I would kind of like to know what's going on. I think everybody else in book, not everybody, but many of the other people in my book group have been having issues with it too, so I don't think I'm alone, at least. And I kind of dominated the conversation for our book last month, so I'm fine with sitting back for one. I don't need to be like the center of attention at all times. It makes me nervous. Yeah, for sure, Shawnee, because I definitely read a lot. I mean, I still read a lot, but I read a lot as a kid, right? Which, oh, that's why I pulled that color out. I forgot I was going to use that. Oh, well. You ever see something and remember you had a plan for it? We were going to use this color for the mushroom tops. Excuse me. And then we didn't. It'll be a good color for the other mushrooms, though. That's fine. But yeah, I definitely picked up a lot of weird words. One, because I read a lot, but two, because my mom, who, when I was a kid, I spent the most time with, also used a lot of weird words because she was a Shakespeare nerd. Oh, thank you, Camera, for disconnecting. That was super helpful of you. You want to connect again? Thank you. I probably kicked a cord. That's probably what happened. It's fine. Okay, good. I'm glad that it's not the easiest to follow, because they do really kind of just toss you into the world without telling you anything, which is fine, but I do feel like I'm missing information that I need to know to understand what's happening. And I like the characters and stuff. It's just like, huh? That's just me the entire time I'm reading this book, just, huh? Huh? Let's do a little bit of a desaturated burn number here. Let's mix in some French ultramarine. But I'm like 70% of the way through the first book, and I'm just like, I don't understand. think I'm gonna end up using probably milkweed color on these grasses, just because that one kind of like covers other colors up a bit. So I think that will make my life easier when I'm not, so I don't have to worry as hard about what I'm doing around them. But I do think that I'll probably grasp it better if I'm reading it instead of listening to it, just because I can go back over it. If I feel like I'm lost, I can flip back a couple pages and see what's happening. Because for the audiobook, that's kind of not a functional way to do it. Especially in like the battle scenes. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing information about how powers work and stuff. That would be useful to know. Hey Cam! I hope your day's good too. And I hope work isn't too bad. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people have been having rough ones at work this week. Yeah, that's totally fair, Stars. I find that if I'm doing like a book that I'm having trouble starting or whatever, I like having a book on while I'm doing other tasks because it feels more productive. And so it tricks my brain into realizing that I'm actually doing things. So like I have another audiobook that I just randomly started like 3 Saturdays ago or something while I was working on website stuff, because it made it easier for me to sit down and stuff. So like sit down and actually work on stuff that I didn't want to work on in the first place. Because my brain doesn't like doing things sometimes. But for the most part at night, especially, I just re-listen to the same audiobook over and over and over and over again because I'm neurodivergent. Do not ask me how many times I've listened through the Hunger Games series this year, because 1, I don't know the number, and 2, if I did know the number, it would be absolutely ridiculous. I'd be rotating those blorbos, man. Which reminds me I need to buy tea. That's a thing I need to do at some point. Yeah, I feel like they haven't really explained that at all. At least to my satisfaction, I guess. And like what is needed in order for these magics to work, even though like it's brought up that it's difficult on the user. They haven't really said in what way, at least not that has stuck in my brain, which again, I feel like I haven't gotten a lot of stuff out of the book that I should have. So maybe it's said in there and I don't know, was spaced out for that sentence or something. But yeah, it just feels a little overwhelming, I guess. But I also have been having like a weird brain month too, so I can't just blame the book. What I do to keep myself from clenching my teeth specifically is I hold my tongue in between my front 2 teeth. So like between the top and bottom teeth, I hold the tip of my tongue in between there so that if I start clenching, it hurts immediately. I also sleep like that now. Fun tips, I don't know. So your mileage may vary on that one, but that's what I do. Yeah. Body hacks with Katie. Because, like, I don't know, for some reason, having the soft tissue pain immediately really makes me aware of when I'm doing it. I didn't say cognizant. Aren't you proud of me? Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, I don't function I can end the sentence there and it's true. But I don't function normally, so I do have a lot of these like hacks that I have to use that are helpful. So I told I think it was Cap and somebody else the other day that like two separate people that I have a little file where I keep like screenshots and notes of nice things people have said to me so that when my brain is being mean to me and telling me that nobody likes me, I could look at literal evidence and be like, you know what, brain, you're a lying liar. And everyone's like, oh, that's so smart. And I'm like, yeah, it's the only way I can keep my brain from not trying to eat itself on a regular basis. So I got all sorts of random little hacks. Let's see if I accidentally unplug the camera again. Oh, stretching up my legs. Yeah. Which part of your chest, like your, what's that called? Breastbone? I can't remember the full word for it. Yeah, sternum, that's it. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just held in place with cartilage. So I have been having like one of my ribs get tweaked in the back and it's driving me bonkers. And I know why it's happening. It's because I've started doing some more training, like strength training, stretching stuff to try and help with my other back issues. So it's getting torqued in a way that it's not used to. But it's like, bro, I'm trying to help. Can you not make this more difficult than it needs to be, please? It's very annoying. And like, it's nothing like super dangerous or anything. My body just hates doing things. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've got stuck on xiphoid process, which is the tiny little bit at the bottom of the sternum. So it's related, but not what I wanted to say. I think I probably want to do a warmer brown on the edges of that. I also found that once I switched to a weighted blanket for like all the time, like I sleep with a weighted blanket, that it helped my muscle tone a lot without like a super huge amount of input from me, which is good. I mean, that's not for everybody, clearly, but I found it really helpful because when my depression was like really, really bad, I lost all of my muscle tone. And like even walking up the stairs was difficult for me. So getting a like, not necessarily passive, but a less input heavy way of gaining some muscle back was really good. And you do be spinning that weighted blanket like a pizza in the middle of the night trying to find the right edges. But I've just been doing like some stretches, and I've started keeping a set of weights next to where I sit to watch streams and stuff. So whenever I think about it, I just kind of lift up some weights for a little bit. Because this is so silly, but the thing that got me to like want to start exercising again was doing the modeling job, because I want to be able to hold different poses. I want to be able to mix it up more. Just because it's more fun for me. It's funny, the things that motivate you and the things that don't. I do also have a Just Dance that I haven't played. That I bought like 2 years ago. And it's just been sitting there. I should play it at some point. I enjoy playing it. It's just like finding the energy to start is difficult for me. And I also don't like being perceived when I'm exercising at all. And in order to do Just Dance, I kind of have to be in the living room. So that is another hurdle. Hurdle-durdle. Okay, I think that's getting someplace. How has it been 2 hours already? When did that happen? What? I don't understand time. I really don't. Oh, that felt sticky because of the latex. I thought I put my hand in wet paint because my hand kind of stuck, but it's just because there's masking fluid on these and the latex is a little sticky. I was like, what did I do? That's been dry for so long. Did I drop water on it? No, it's just liquid latex. It's fine. I thought I might do some colored pencil on the trees and the log too, but I don't think I will. I think keeping this all watercolor is gonna make it feel a little bit more cohesive. I also have been kind of wanting to replay this game again. This song is from Valhalla. I've been like replaying a lot of stuff I played for the first time last year on Switch and doing it on Steam instead. Cause I like the little achievements. They give me good brain juices. And we love some good brain juice. I do also have to do Coffee Talk. That's one that I bought. I did it on Switch, but I want to do it on Steam too because there's a second episode out and I want to play the second episode, but it's been long enough since I played the first one that I probably want to replay the first one and then do the second one. But the timing hasn't been right yet. The stars have not aligned. We'll get there though. I think I want to add a little bit of orange to this. But like a muted orange. Like that. I end up adding a little bit of red too. So I do want it to be a more desaturated tone, but I would like some little pops in there because it really makes it feel more like bark to me. If you have a few colors in lines working together. I think that will connect it back to the trees in the background a little bit too, and that will be good. I say as I'm doing it. Talking like it's not actually happening, but it is. I do have some spots that are a little bit too light in here, I think, so let's go back over with some of this. Let's mix in some blue to make it a little bit calmer. A bit chiller, literally. I feel like there's something else I was gonna say and then I immediately forgot it, which like probably is true, but also could just be my default state. I don't know. think letting that dry a little bit and then going back over with a thinner brush with some of the same colors and lines will be good. My hand is very lightly colored yellow, which I think is very funny, like yellow-green. But we made some good progress today. I think I want to work on that a little bit more, but let's also do, while we're waiting, we can do some messing around with the grass here. Do I want to use a flat brush for that? Maybe a little bit. Let's use this guy and see how that goes. Ooh, you are not held on to your handle very well. That's okay though. We are making good progress on this though. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take because again, I hadn't really thought it through very well. Which, I mean, for me, having not thought it through very well, which means that I've thought about it like nonstop for a month. I may be a little bit of an overthinker, just a little though. Although I have been getting better about that too. I've been working on it, trying to like not overthink everything, just overthink the things that need some thinking, you know what I mean? But I definitely have been I haven't been overthinking like interpersonal relationship stuff as much, which is a big forward movement for me. But I think a lot of that is also just because I have people in my life who reassure me a lot now, which is also good. I've done very well at cultivating a lot of people who legitimately care about me and just want me to be happy, which is a new experience for me. But I have a lot of people who definitely care more about me being okay than like me being accessible to them, which is wild. Like, I'm actually allowed to take breaks and you won't get mad at me? What? That's allowed? It is allowed. In fact, it is encouraged. Huh, who knew? You know? Yeah, I think a flat brush was the right choice for this. Good job, Katie. Get a little bit of a different texture going. I really do love using my round brushes, but sometimes you just need to get a little bit of a different vibe going. I do really like using flat brushes for like rocks. That's really good. You know you're an artist when you have really strong opinions on what brushes should be used for what. I do think that we're gonna go over the grass like a lot to do a bunch of different layers to give it some more texture. Because I don't know, I just think that looks good. It makes it look more busy without actually being busy. It makes it feel like the right texture without having to do like a bunch of individual lines and stuff. Yeah, this is starting to feel like an actual art piece. Look at us go. I've been like really bad at trusting the process lately, which is like it's a difficult step. But I have definitely, especially when I've been streaming, I've noticed that there's a point where I'm like, I don't think that this is working. And then my brain stays in that spot and doesn't let me move forward, even when the piece itself moves forward. So I'm glad that I like on this piece, I'm like, I know where I'm going vaguely. And I like the way it's headed instead of just getting stuck in a, well, it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like anything because it's not done yet, silly. I do think I want to do some yellow probably in the center here. But we're doing this color first. That was more pigment than I meant to pick up. That's fine. I don't think we're getting this done today, which I wasn't expecting to, but we did make really good progress on it. I'm probably going to end soon, though, soonish, because I would like to eat lunch at some point. My metabolism was like super weird yesterday, which I know why that was, but it was still kind of like a, this is inconvenient. Could we not? I think we'll do some more grassy texture and maybe put in the first layer on our hand over here. Then move on our merry little ways. I will go back over probably with some of the milkweed and some of the other beam paints to fill in the clovers and stuff here. But first, let's add some yellow to this party. What am I gonna have for lunch? That's the next question. Maybe some ramen. Maybe... maybe something else. Who knows? I don't know what all we have. It's one of those days where I need to like stare into the refrigerator like I'm trying to divine some great truth. But really, I'm just trying to divine what I'm eating for lunch. Okay. Ooh, that looks a lot muddier on screen than it does in person. That's interesting. I guess it doesn't, the cam doesn't really pick up this green enough. Exactly, Shawnee. It's like maybe if I stare long enough, some kind creature will just come down and feed me. And sometimes, to be fair, that does happen, and that creature is my brother. And if I'm very desperate, he'd make me something if I asked, but I can make myself something. I could do cheese and crackers. I could do peanut butter and apple. Could do ramen. I wonder if we have eggs. I would eat some eggs. What else do I want to do to this? Are you vaguely dry? You're a little dry, but not super dry. How about you? You're fine though. So let's fill in our hand and sleeve here. So I think I just want to do a cool gray to start out with for the sleeve, because that'll make it stand out a little bit more since we have a lot of orangey tones right here. I do think that I want to do the inside of the sleeve purple just because I think it's fun, for one, but also we're going to have like a very low amount of purple in this painting as a whole, so it will bring out the hand there as a little bit more of a focal point, which will be good because it is kind of important to the story of the piece. I do think I'll probably add a little bit of the same colors here to the ghost. Probably. I may change my mind. We'll see. I do want to pick up a little bit of this pigment here. Let's do a bloom right there. That's gorgeous. All right. I don't want to do the inside of the purple yet because I want to let that gray dry first. But I love how you don't have to actually use black to make something read as black. Color theory. It's fun. Who knew? Um, what else can I do while I'm waiting? You're a little bit more dry. Let's play around with that a little bit. I also need to decide where we're headed. That's something to think about. We could go raid Lib. I bet Rainbow's still alive too. So we could go bother
And now,
Rainbow.
for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Cool. Thank you, Stars. I might go bother Rainbow. Because I do raid Lib a lot. I mean, I also raid Rainbow a lot, but Lib is generally live on Tuesdays when I end as well. And Rainbow has some mildly chiller vibes than, than Lib does. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that texture right there. Maybe that's where we call it today. That's a good stopping spot. I need to wait for that to dry before I can do the other bits right there. But we made a lot of progress today. Look at us go. So we finished the leaves up top. We got started on the grass. We mostly finished the log. I might tweak some of the inside shadows a little bit next time. Because I do think that the foreground and the background of this part aren't as separated as they could be, as distinct as they could be. But that can be a next time problem. But yeah, look at us go. Okay, I'm gonna take a photo of this before I forget. Because it's easier if I do it now. Okay. Is there anything else I need to do? Was there anything else I need to say? I don't think so. I'll probably remember something like after I end stream. Yeah, for sure. I did it again. Oh my god. Why am I like this? It's because my surface area is not great. There we go. My surface area, that's not what I mean. Just the area I work in is not very conducive. Yeah, and it's good for me to take photos of the steps too. One, it's good for my brain because I can say, look at how much I got done to myself when my brain is being mean. But also, I do make these posts for my Patreons that include like a progress post which like shows steps and gives like insight into the process. So it's good on a number of levels for me to remember to actually take a photo. Do I always remember to take a photo? No, but I've been trying to be better about it. Changing, because the way I used to work, I used to just work by myself and take photos while I was working, which I still forgot to do sometimes. But changing from working on my own to working on stream and trying to remember to take photos has been a task for my brain. So some of them have been pretty sparse, and I would like to get better about that. Nobody's complaining, but I guess I'm complaining because it feels a little disingenuous, I guess, to say I'm going to show you the process and then not show the process. I do think that we'll add some more blotchies to the grass next time too, so we won't lift up this masking fluid quite yet, but we're getting there. And chances are I'll need to re-ink some of the areas when I pull up the masking fluid. I will take a hydrate. Thank you. And I will do a stretching. I actually finished my caffeine before I started stream today, so I drank more water than normal, which is good. Ooh, stretching. All right, stretch mostly accomplished. I guess I'm not technically done stretching, but I am stretching.
Amazing, sweetie.
Thank you. All right. Now that I'm looking at it, I think maybe I want to push some of the shadows on the trees a little bit more too. But that's not a now task. That's a next time task. And we'll see what I think next time. Let me switch over to the ending screen so that it's clear that I'm ending. And let me remember to actually get the stream that I'm rating up this time before I start doing things. Is there anything else that I needed to say? I need to start, like, I'm gonna say this. I need to start making a list, but I know that I would forget to bring the list with me about things I wanted to talk about on stream. Remembering what she's doing? We don't do that here. Yes. I will also do that. I forgot to copy it last time, which was something. We were just rating libs, so it doesn't matter, but like... that's not even the right command. Come on, Katie. Get it together, girl. Alright, here's the raid commands. You can copy and paste those. Yeah, Stars and I look out for each other. That's the dynamic. We try to be each other's extra, like, backup brain cell. Especially during streaming, because there's just, like, so much going on all the time forever when you're streaming that it's so easy to forget stuff. It's just a lot of things happening at once. So there's two raid commands. The first one has an emote that you can use in other channels if you are subscribed. The second has emotes that you can use anywhere on Twitch, no matter who or where you're subscribed to. So pick the one that applies to you to copy and paste on our journey over to Rainbow's Haven here. I'm gonna start the raid if I can type, which is always a little suspect. Beep boop. There we go. All right. Oh, she still has the mature filter on. That surprises me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for, I don't know, celebrating the wins with me, because I don't know. It was nice to just feel really grounded today with you guys, because I needed that, so I appreciate it. And I always appreciate the support and just people popping in and saying, hey. So remember that you're loved, because I love you. Remember to be kind to yourself and take care of yourselves, even if that's hard, because some days it is really hard. But if you can't do that for yourself, please do that for me, because I think you're awesome and you deserve nice things, and that includes from yourself, even on the days when it's really hard. So let me be that little cheerleader voice in your head, all right? And I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll hang out, and I will have weird energy on Tuesday, I promise. So it'll be super fun. So take care, be nice to Rainbow, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
In spite